What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast. Season 2 is in full gear, and so we are super excited for what we got going on this season. Just to let you know what that means, we still have our weekly Prepisodes where we discuss movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. I got my buddy POPpaGoss on those each and every week. Those drop on Mondays at 6 a.m. Also, we have our Creators Conversations. This is where we're interviewing people from the business and beyond to discuss what they do to create and how they create their art. We will be releasing one of those interviews a month, so be on the lookout for that on YouTube. We're also doing our monthly watch-alongs where we pick a movie to watch. We live stream our conversation while we're watching the film on YouTube. This week, we're celebrating Black History Month. We're going to be discussing essential Black films. We've got our buddy Tommy from the Popalicious Pop Heads. He's going to be lining down that list for us. It's going to be a good time. We hope you also check out our website at moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com. There you can see all of our social links. You can listen to the podcast. You can watch the podcast. We also have our merch store. You can find tons of merch for Movies That Make You and our friends. We also have a link to our letterbox where you can see all the movies that we watch in preparation for the new releases, but also the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream, and everything in between. So before we get to this week's episode, let's check out what we got coming up on the Movies That Make You podcast. Next week, we've got a special guest on the show, the Horror Green Book. Brendan's going to be discussing the movies that he finds fascinating from around the world. The week after that, we are celebrating the franchise that brought POPpaGoss and I together, Scream. We're going to be discussing all 6 prior films in preparation for Scream 7 hitting theaters that week. The week after that, we're going to be preparing for The Bride. And in order to do that, we're going to be watching a bunch of Frankenstein stories, and we're bringing our good friend back to the show, Horror Cat Dad, as we discuss these classics. The week after that, we're going to be preparing for the Oscars by talking about the 10 nominees for Best Picture. We're going to be bringing my niece on the show. She is fascinated by Sinners and other films that released this year. So we're looking forward to having that conversation as we prepare to see which movies get the golden statue. Hope those episodes excite you. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of Movies That Make You podcast. I'm Sprang, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. POPpaGoss. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Not much, brother. Man, it is also, I will have to say, it's been a fun week, seeing all the videos and the clips from Tommy's episode last week. Just a lot of fun having that conversation and being
Really
able to share
beautiful.
that with the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Also fun to kind of hear all the conversations, the fun stuff that we've got going on the podcast.
I know, man. It's
Kind of wild.
chaotic, but in the best way possible. So
Yeah, absolutely. I actually kind of did some work on the website, the bio site. So did some rearranging and some creator conversation bucket and our live watch bucket, and then your bucket and letterbox. And so it looks a little bit cleaner now. And so people, if you go to moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com, you can check out and see the new digs. You can listen to the podcast there. You can watch the podcast from our YouTube, but then you can also see other things we got, including new merch. I just got our new Movies That Make You Scream.
fire.
Yes, as a little like telephone reference to one of my favorite movies of all time, Scream. Scream 7 comes out in a couple weeks too. Looking forward to that conversation. Obviously, we're going to have that conversation. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, no, that shirt is awesome. Yeah, really cool merch.
I want to do the orange and black for Halloween, so you wear it for the Halloween season.
Heck
But
yeah.
I figured it'd be fun to highlight it here.
No, I love that. Yeah, that design's really cool.
Cool. Thanks, man. And we got a bunch of merch. I put a post up last week with all your merch. We got POPpaGoss's
Yeah, it looks
merch.
awesome.
Yesterday, as of this podcast yesterday, I dropped Matt's merch for spookyoki.com. So check that out. He's got some cool stuff. He wanted to put some hats and t-shirts, and so I designed him some. I threw them up there. So go support Matt. He's going to be on the podcast later this year for Ready or Not 2. So that should be a lot.
I cannot wait.
So how's your week been?
It's been good, man. Just staying busy and running errands and making sure I'm all organized and ready for whatever the next day has going. But no, it's been fun. A lot of it's been a big like networking week, just hearing back from people, replying to messages. But yeah, we got some really cool stuff in the pipeline coming up in the next few months.
Yes.
Stay tuned, everyone, because I got I took a shot at somebody, and not most of you aren't going to know who these people are, but the movie they worked on is really big, so we'll save that for a reveal later. But
Yes,
it's very exciting. We it couldn't have come at a better time, so we're just finalizing that interview. We've got some other awesome ones. We got Alex Armbruster for coming up in March, and he is going to be, I mean, it's going to be a great interview. We got that coming up. We've also got Michael Zara, who directed the movie that I was an extra in called Horrified, along with one of the lead actresses. And it's going to be super fun, but we're trying to make the final push, help that movie finalize so they can release it this year. So yeah, we got a few really awesome interviews coming up, and I've been ecstatic just getting replies from people at all in general. So it's a lot of fun.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man. Thank you so much for all that hard work. It's been amazing. Excited to kind of see where this takes us too. We had said maybe one a month because that way we didn't put too much pressure on
right,
ourselves.
right.
The way that it's going, we might end up
I,
releasing more
I
than one a
know.
month,
Yeah,
just so we can make sure we hit the stride when everybody's
yeah,
thinking about a movie. We don't want to miss that opportunity to share more.
sure.
So we'll see. Should be fun. Should be fun. I did share that one just the audience to get excited a little bit. I did share the one you mentioned that we were kind of keeping secret right now. I shared it with the boys and they all went like,
Oh
"What?
yeah.
What?"
No,
So
I got a reply email a couple days ago, and I like was shocked. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so awesome." And then the emails that they've been sending since then have gotten even more interesting for me and mentally, but I'm probably overthinking it, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. So I'm just happy for the opportunity. So
absolutely. And then I'll tell you, man, that was I mean, I'd never even thought about it. I guess passing, it had kind of like I'd had guests on the podcast to talk, but I'd never kind of like thought about taking it to the next level and like reaching out to people in the
sure.
industry and like having them just interview. I've never thought about that. So, I think ZombieCon definitely, them reaching out to us and saying like, "Hey, I want to be on a podcast." I think that would open the idea in my head to possibly do that, but your energy and your excitement about adding that into our regular scheduled programming, I think it's great. I think it's going to add a whole new layer to what we have to offer to people that want to check out the channel. And so, man, I can't thank you enough. Like seriously, you've brought
No,
so
yeah, I
much.
mean,
Yeah,
when you asked me to join you as the co-host, like the first thing that came to mind was trying to base stuff off of like not copy my friends, but I have some friends who do the same kind of format on their channel, and like Aaron's Movie Room and well, Aaron's Movies, and then A and B Horror is the name of his podcast. He's a big motivation for why I wanted to do that. Mr. Titan in Nashville, my buddy Alex, he's awesome. So that just I didn't know if it would work, just because we are kind of fresh with our new format and stuff. But yeah, I think, I mean, we're just getting started, but I think we're having a good first year, and if we want to continue that, I think we have a lot of possibility. And I mean, we have some people that we still haven't heard from. So those
yeah,
could pop up at any second, or
exactly,
I have some people I gotta get in touch with that we have to add to the list. So we're definitely set for the year. I mean, we probably will have at least 12 full interviews, but we might have a few more extras thrown in there. So stay tuned,
absolutely.
because we got some good guests coming on.
Absolutely. This week we are talking Wuthering Heights. We're kind of prepping for Wuthering Heights, directed by Emerald Fennell. And it's a tragic love story. So we're going to be talking about some tragic love stories with Kristen. She's going to be on in just a minute. But I did want to go ahead and give you a little shout out. I know at the beginning of the podcast stream, I always talk about what prepisodes we have coming up, but I also want to mention real quickly what other items we have coming up. So February 20th, we've got our live watch of The Revenant. So if you want to join
Woo!
us on YouTube, that'll be February 20th. We'll be watching that movie and then just kind of chit chatting across the interwebs about life and about the movie and just whatever comes up in that conversation. As our good buddy who's on the podcast next week, Horror Green Book, said, it's just like friends sitting around watching a movie together and chatting.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that on February 20th. And then, as Josh mentioned before, we've got the director, producer, writer of Horrified, along with one of the actresses that's going to be here. That episode or that interview is going to be dropping on February 27th. So that's a couple of the items that are coming up on the podcast this month. So we are super excited. And I just mentioned Horror Green Book. What a great guy.
Oh, yeah. You guys are not even prepared for that interview.
It's so epic.
Brendan's already the man, but like it's a great interview. I can't wait for everybody to listen to it. So
absolutely. And then the last week of the month, we've got the Scream series. Josh and I talking through all six of the Scream movies in preparation for Scream 7. I really hope it's good. I hope it's a good one. So we'll see if it is. But the prior ones have been good, and so we're diving into that.
I was on the web for Josh, and I talking through all 6 of the Scream movies in preparation for Scream 7.
Thank you, Siri.
Thank you, Siri. That's so nice.
Yes. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Anything else going on with you?
No, man, I'm just trying to get a few small content things on my channel when I can. Just kind of catching up. I still got packages from months ago to open, but got some shorts. I found some cool stuff out in the wild. Went thrifting the other day, found some physical media for cheap. So I'm going to put that short out. But yeah, just pretty much my main focus is podcast and just giving our audience the best that we have. So that's been my main focus other than my son. So
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I actually I think I mentioned on the podcast before, my Xbox Series X has never played certain Blu-rays. It just like won't play them. It won't play DVDs at times. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, and it's just completely random. I got it sent off, and they brought it back. They sent it back, and it's working now. I'm gonna throw a shout out. I don't know. We're not sponsored. I'm gonna throw a shout out there to Asurion Home Plus. It is basically a warranty for all your electronics. And so you pay a monthly fee, and then you can submit claims for your electronics. If you got stick drift on your game console, or you got your Xbox that won't play, they will, for their max fee is a certain amount. So you aren't paying for a full Xbox. You're just paying for that amount. And then if they can't fix it, they replace it for free.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It's a great program for those of you that have a lot of electronics and you want to have a plan to cover them all for kind of a low monthly fee. Like I said, we're not sponsored yet, but I'm going to post this and see if we get sponsored. It'd be great, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure they're the main insurance provider for most things on Amazon. So I know I sign up every time because it's usually really cheap and inexpensive to cover your butt for anything. So yeah, and, big shout out.
I think when I called Xbox support, actually, they sent me to Asurion as a part of that.
I know they're one of the bigger companies, so that's good. I'm glad you got that back, so you can watch your
so
movies.
Excited. Yes, and so now it's like, okay, I'd kind of shied away from getting physical media for a long time because all you can just buy it on Fandango at home. But since I've kind of been in this space and with you guys, it's like, man, but I do like the physical media. I mean, I've got my Inception briefcase back there.
Heck yeah.
Sinner's guitar case. And so I've got a bunch of box sets, and it's like, well, I want to buy some physical media. So
that's so funny. I don't have that Inception, but I have the Blu-ray that came with the script. It has like a miniature. Nice. It has the whole script with it. Nice. So yeah, I have a special edition version of Inception as well.
But that one is a UK version because they sold out in America. So I bought that one.
UK does it right. Their special editions are insanity. Yeah, they're like
it's the briefcase is like the dream case that they use to go into sleep mode. And then I have a top. I have Hod's top. And
Yeah,
it also came with the instruction booklet for the sleep thing. And then it came with like 6 or 8 like little postcard size like pictures
nice.
from the movie and promo stuff. So it's like
Yeah,
so epic.
I would love, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, there's a bunch of UK stores that are specifically physical media that are awesome that you, if our listeners, if you're looking for physical media, you can get good deals, discounts and stuff. But the one that comes to mind from the UK is the Movie Room, which I actually got the recent Steelbook Nightmare on Elm Street set. That's highly sought after. They texted me when they restocked. I snagged one for way lower price than what it was going for. And I haven't unboxed it yet. It's still in my list,
There you go.
but yeah, that's in the UK does it right. They could do good releases of movies. They have a lot of stores over there that send out physical media. It's quick and painless, and you get discount codes and stuff. So that'd be cool to work with some physical media companies because
Yeah,
I love my physical media for sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Like I said, we're going to talk about Wuthering Heights, and we talked about that with Kristen just a minute ago. And so we're going to cut to that right now. We got Kristen here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's tragic love stories, and I don't think that says anything about your love life.
No,
But-
actually, it doesn't.
But
That's why I can find them interesting.
yeah, same. So we just thought we'd bring in a female companion to help talk through these tragic stories because it looks like Wuthering Heights is going to be nuts.
All
So
drama.
Yeah, for sure.
great drama. This isn't part of the list, but we did end up watching that kind of 90s one.
Mhm.
Or actually it was like mid 2000s. What did you
Yes.
think of that one?
I thought it was great. I actually, sidebar, had to watch it so I could kind of get a grasp of what the story was about. I've been reading the book and it's tough. It is written in the 1850s and it just is hard for me to get into that headspace and see what they're talking about. So I needed kind of like a Cliff Notes version, give me a movie, and it helped a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. It definitely felt like a kind of a B tier movie, maybe like a made for cable type style and quality necessary, but it was well acted and well done. And
It told the
so
story.
it told the story, gave us a nice little, like you said, Cliff Notes version. Have you had any experience with Wuthering Heights,
I have
POPpaGoss?
not seen any iterations of Wuthering Heights. I haven't read the book. I know how important it is. Like I heard it mentioned in a few like literary classes in college and in high school. I went to a college prep high school in Colorado, and a lot of the stuff they were reading was like, more on a higher level than most high schools were doing. I remember my class didn't have to read that one, but I know there was a class before mine that said that they had to do that one. So I just missed out on that one, but it
By
looks
the way,
good. The movie
that-
looks good.
Yeah.
That's one more thing that you and I have in common, buddy. I went to a college prep school in Jacksonville.
Aw.
Telling you, we were separated at birth.
It's crazy. Crazy. Well, when I first kind of heard about this movie, I jumped to like the Jane Austen movies,
Right.
Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. But those are kind of happy ending movies for the
Mhm.
most part. But I did want to touch on them just because it felt like it was a similar era. So we watched Sense and Sensibility, Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson. It's kind of like a sisters battling over the love and affection of one of the guys, and then he moves on, and then they find the guy that was there all along is the guy that they
Had left at the beginning.
that loved him at the beginning. Yeah.
And I think what's tough with that is back then, I feel like women were used, that was their only way out. You had to basically marry up in order to do well. But the sisters, they had their love interest, but then they thought, oh gosh, well, my other sister loves him, or however that turned out. But
hmm
yeah, it was really well done. I liked Kate Winslet's acting. She will catch
Yeah.
into that, but
Yeah.
she reminded me a little bit of her scenes in Titanic, just
Mhm.
with that like stoic look that she has, and
Mhm.
just very picturesque.
Very nice. Have you seen that Sensibility?
Yeah, it's been a while. But I remember I watched that Sense and Sensibility. I know it's been made a couple of times, but
Okay.
the 94 one, directed by Ang Lee, that one I remember watching with my mom. I think she rented the VHS from Blockbuster, because I know it was like a big deal at the time, because that was before, hey buddy, that was before like a lot of the, I guess, feminist movement things were like the early movies in the 90s and stuff.
Like Little Women, that was
Yeah,
around that
Little
time too.
Women, just that there was a huge blow up in the 90s, of just movies like that. And even though Wuthering Heights isn't a Jane Austen novel, you can't help but think, like, I know why you selected some of these movies, because Emily Bronte, I think, got her ideas and stuff, what she wanted to do with her book Wuthering Heights, from most of what Jane Austen, because Jane Austen came, I want to say, like, it was a pretty good long time before Bronte's novels started coming out. I think Jane Austen was like early 1800s, and
Yeah.
then Bronte was like late 1800s. So like they had a pretty big gap, but you can't help but think that she was inspired by a lot of the work that Jane Austen did. And obviously Jane Austen has so many adaptations. Even there's like movies that I bet a lot of our listeners don't even know are based off of like Jane Austen books. Like Clueless is one that comes to mind from the 90s. Like that movie's hilarious, but it's also, such a cult classic now. I think it just celebrated its like 30th anniversary or something.
Yeah, last year.
But yeah, a lot of people probably don't even realize that they've loved that movie for so long, and it's based off of Jane Austen's work. So you can't help but think, Wuthering Heights came along because, in a huge part, to Jane Austen's early work, before Bronte started writing her novels. So. But yeah, Sense and
sure.
Sensibility is good. It has an epic cast. I mean, you guys already touched on Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet, but it has like Tom Wilkinson and Robert Hardy and Alan Rickman, Hugh Laurie, Hugh Grant. I mean,
Hugh
just
Grant, yes.
pretty much like the British ensemble cast that you would like. The only person who's missing is probably like Ralph Fiennes or yeah, all the other popular. But yeah, they had some of the heavy hitters that went on to become heavy hitters later on. I don't think at that time they were as big as they are now. So
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it too, and I was very surprised when I saw the credits hit, or maybe it was probably in the opening credits, and it was like Ang Lee, directed by Ang Lee, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. But this was his first English adaptation. I looked it up. This was his first English
I didn't know that.
like American film. Prior to this, I believe it was all subtitled and stuff like that for American audiences. But thought it was very, very good. And it was a good, like, I mean, he did a good job with all the characters, all the drama, all the tension. Like, it was great. It was great.
It had I'm looking at it now. It had 5 Oscar nominations, and it won Best Screenplay based on material previously written. And you know who wrote the screenplay? There was an actress in the movie, Emma Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
Emma Thompson won an Academy Award, not for her acting. She was nominated, but she didn't win. Kate Winslet was nominated, Best Cinematography, Michael Coulter, and then it was up for Best Picture as well, that in the 96 Oscars. But yeah, fun little tidbit. Emma Thompson not only acted in it, but she won an Oscar for adapting this screenplay. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And another Jane Austen adaptation that's very similar in title because it's got an ampersand, and that is Pride and Prejudice. Also the alliteration, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, similar. A lot of a different story. This one isn't like the sisters fighting over, this is like the love that's like, she thinks he hates her, and yet it's his affection for her that's causing him to be so pent up and look like he's mad at her, and it's just that whole tension throughout a film, and then they of course they end up together, starring Keira Knightley, and directed by Joe Wright, who's done a lot of good films. Also stars Matthew McFadden as I think what was his Mr. Darcy. That's it.
Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
It's back before guys acknowledged they had feelings. You know, we've touched on that. It's all fun and games, but I really like this one. I like Keira Knightley. I think she's an incredible actress, and she too fits the period scenes really well.
Mm-hmm.
Must be like be an English thing. I don't know.
Well, speaking of, who wrote the screenplay for this one? Emma Thompson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
Emma Thompson's
so wait a second. Is she actually related to Jane Austen?
Right?
That would be neat.
That's crazy.
Do some.
I bet her lineage, because some of like one that comes to mind, like Tom Hanks found, he does a lot of, he's obsessed with like Abraham Lincoln and all that stuff, and he actually found out that he's like related to Abraham Lincoln. Tom Hanks, like he's
That's
from
amazing.
he did like all the ancestry and all that stuff. But yeah, that would be crazy if Emma Thompson was part of that.
Some of the other cast that's notable is Carey Mulligan, Rosamund Pike, Donald Sutherland is also in this, and then Kelly Riley from Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm. And I love Carey Mulligan. She was in The Great Gatsby. I really enjoyed her performance in that one.
Yep. And also Jenna Malone, which came up on a podcast recently when we were talking about Batman v Superman and her.
Yeah,
her like
I've been a fan of hers for a while. She's really good.
Very good.
That one. If you do a Jane Austen adaptation, you're gonna get Oscar noms. That one also got 4 Oscar nominations for that one. So that's why they probably do them, because they're heavily dramatic, and the period pieces usually gain a lot of attention from like the committee and
Academy.
Stuff. So
Academy. It's really great for even if it's not a great movie and it doesn't get nominated for director or actors, you have a really good shot at getting nominated for the costumes.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's all of the timepieces. I mean, stunning. Couldn't imagine wearing that though, because they have corset, like you strap it in, and I mean, you can't breathe. I mean, there were women that would pass out just because they couldn't breathe. But
that reminds me of Keira Knightley, or always reminds me of Pirates when she actually does pass out from her corset being too tight. So Keira plays that role very well.
I don't know. I mean, there are very few movies where Keira Knightley isn't playing someone in some sort of period other than present.
Right.
Like her, Woman in the Cabin 10 came out last year, and that was pretty much a modern day telling. But literally, the rest of her filmography is 99%, either period piece or very, very British. In the case of that, but yeah, I mean, it was one of those early. I think she was in 1999. She was in Phantom Menace as one of the disguised, like the decoys.
Amidala.
Yeah, Amidala's decoys, and I think that was her first film. So this was 6 years later when she's the leading role. That's pretty good for a young lady, and. She did. I mean, this kind of put her on the map for these types of roles and made her a household name, I would say. And I think, like you said, the period piece, Emma Thompson being a thread from Sense and Sensibility to Pride and Prejudice. Do you have any fun facts about Pride and Prejudice?
No, not offhand, but
okay.
But yeah, I think I was trying to see when because Pirates came out, let's see, 2 years before Pride and Prejudice. So she was like kind of she had 2003, she had 2 really big movies she had Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, and then she had Love Actually, which is a classic as well. So she had those back to back, which set her up then she did King Arthur. She did a movie with Adrian Brody that was really good called The Jacket. Like Domino, where she's like a bounty hunter or whatever. And then Pride and Prejudice was like right in between that. So she kind of just launched her career and then did 2 more Pirates in between there, and then Atonement, which we'll talk about in a sec as well. So
Yeah, I think that's good timing. Our through thread from Sensibility to Pride and Prejudice was larger than I thought it would be. I thought it was just Jane Austen
right,
or the
yeah,
Emma Thompson. And I thought the thread from Sensibility to Atonement was just going to be Keira Knightley, but it was actually also directed by Joe Wright. So Joe Wright came over
crazy.
and brought Keira Knightley with him for a movie called Atonement, set in right at the beginning of World War II. Our characters connect. Keira Knightley, James McAvoy, another situation where their love is tragic in the sense that they fall in love, but they aren't able to be together because Saoirse Ronan missees their lovemaking as something more, as something of her being attacked, because she had seen her friend be attacked, and so she thought the same thing was, and that was Juno Temple. Was also in this. She was being attacked
I love her too.
by an older man, and so when Saoirse's character saw this happening with Kira and James, she thought the same thing, told everybody this is what happened, and so they basically shunned him, and he ended up going to war. Throughout the course of the movie, spoiler alert, we found out that he's killed, but she's, it's all about the writing of this story and Saoirse Ronan writing this story through the whole thing. I think for me, one of the biggest standouts for this film, other than the green dress,
That's my favorite. I was like, I just want one. Can I get a green dress?
right?
Just
That is
silk,
pretty.
please.
Yeah, there's that's some amazing things, and I think Keira Knightley is married to Joe Wright, so they were married when they were filming this, and he was directing her in that scene, and so
Like in real life?
mhm,
Real life? Oh.
yeah, so it's kind of funny, like you can find talk show bits where she talks about how weird it is to have your husband shout stuff about what you're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing in the scene, so it's kind of funny that way, but
James McAvoy, he's incredible.
yes,
Yeah,
I-
Jess loves James like that's like her favorite
I hadn't
person.
met him until, or seen him until Split,
mhm,
and so after watching
Yeah.
that is when I was like, oh, he's good. And then
Well,
I
I
did,
know him as Mr. Tumnus.
oh yeah, from
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the
I-
Wardrobe.
Yeah, I tell
Oh,
Jess all the
my
time because like that's like her celebrity crush. She loves James McAvoy. So I'm always like, oh, so I used to do stand-up comedy, and so like when I first met Jess, sometimes I'll still write like ideas for jokes, and I was like, so my wife, she loves James McAvoy, but it's like, I can't pull off any of his stuff as like sexy. So I'm like, hey, what's up, honey? I'm Mr. Tumnus coming out of the wardrobe. And and she's like, shit. She doesn't even like I don't think she's even seen Chronicles of Narnia, but
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I
Speaking
love James
of,
McAvoy too. So I would
Yeah.
like if he came to our house, I'd be like, let's go.
yeah,
Let's go, buddy.
yeah,
Let's
he's
be
great.
friends.
I recognized him from, of course, the X-Men, the kind of the reboot of X-Men. But then, speaking of Chronicles of Narnia, we've got a new one dropping later this year.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, directed by the same director as Barbie, whose name is leaving me at this moment. Who directed Barbie?
Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig. There it is.
Yes.
Greta Gerwig.
Yeah. So that should
And
be
then
interesting.
Saoirse Ronan, yeah, she was 12 when they started shooting the movie, and she got nominated for an Oscar at the age of 13. So I think at the time she was the youngest, I believe, I'm pretty sure, to ever be nominated, and then that has been beaten since then. But yeah, she's talk about someone who very rarely misses a role. I mean, she's she's good in everything she does.
Definitely top notch.
And that one also got a ton of Oscar nominations as well. So yet again, I think it got like 7.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to mention was, other than the green dress, what I really love about this film is the score, because they use typewriter sounds as this rhythmic beat throughout the score. So it has some other instruments, but the typewriter is like the drum beat throughout the whole thing, which matches the fact that this is Circe's character typing the story and writing the story.
And that was the only Oscar that the movie actually won, was the score. So that was the only winner of the 7 nominations. So
yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
great story, great movie. Just a lot of that kind of like the early on where there's this tension where you think one of them likes the other one, but the other one doesn't, isn't paying attention, and then all of a sudden it's like they both realize, oh wow, we do both like each other, and then they pursue that, and then it gets kind of ripped away. Somewhat of a tragedy. And then it also has them as older, kind of looking back as well in this one as well too. So,
and then just a fun fact that I just read just now, I think it's kind of cool. So there's only 8 UK military ambulances from World War II that were left in existence, and that movie used all 8 of them.
Wow.
In the movie. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, does she become a nurse to try and hopefully find him, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and also, this is probably outdated, but James McAvoy, I know at the time he said this was like one of the greatest scripts he had ever read. That's a big reason why he took the role. And obviously, he was great. He's great and everything, but yeah, just a very, very well done movie all around.
Absolutely. And that does bring us to that we might think is a tragic love story because they didn't actually get to like continue with their love. But that brings us to our next one. The through thread is Romeo and Juliet, who also did not get to live for their love. So Romeo and Juliet, as the podcast knows, if you're new to the podcast, it's in my top 5 movies of all time. I just tell the story really quickly. I saw the movie once it was released on VHS. After it was in the theaters, I took my VHS player, I connected it to my tape deck, and I recorded the audio of the film start to finish, and then I played that audio tape in my car to and from school every day, I think it was my entire senior year.
Okay.
My entire senior year of high school. And the reason I did that was because I thought, if I can quote Shakespeare, I've got an ace in the hand when it comes to trying to woo some ladies. Now, one of the first conversations we had
via instant messenger,
at work, was something about the fact that you really liked.
I liked Romeo and Juliet. I mean, I was 13 at the time. Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio comes on the screen. It's that, oh my
God,
the
sunrise scene.
Yes, and then they're in the bathroom, and where it's, they're looking through, and Claire Danes, love her, and it just was great. Like, I'm little 13-year-old self just like, oh, okay. But anyways, side note, I got the CD, and I loved that music soundtrack. It's so good.
Incredible soundtrack.
Yes. And I would just watch the movie over and over and over. And I still do that. I love movies that it's comforting to me, just because I know what's going to happen. And we quoted it to each other. And I think I kind of blew his socks off when I was quoting back. And he's like, oh, I think I found my match.
Yeah. I said it was when we were in that stage where we were not, we didn't basically say, I like you.
Right.
It was just, we were talking work stuff.
Just talking.
And then I had said in the chat, I could come over, I could quote some Romeo and Juliet to you. And you said, remember?
No.
You said, well, you need to come over and do that because everybody over here thinks you like me.
Oh, geez. Yes, I remember that.
And I was like, I called my manager. My manager like crawled on his knees to get over to my desk because I was like, I don't know what to do at this point. Like, I've already shown my hand. Like, she already knows. Like, I've ruined like the whole like build up, the tension. It was over. I was like, so my response was, I didn't think I was being that obvious. And then you were surprised because you didn't believe it.
No, I didn't, because there were a lot of other cute girls. And I was like, anyways, we both love Romeo and Juliet.
We do.
And it's not a tragic story.
Incredible soundtrack. There are some epic bands on there. Everclear, Garbage, Radiohead. I mean, it doesn't get much more 90s than that. So some fun stuff. They also, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So like Leo that was around I remember when that came out. I remember Blockbuster just advertising on TV like that you could rent it now. I remember seeing the trailer come out on some of the VHSs that my parents would rent. And I finally got to see it, a little while after it came out. And we actually watched this the high school that I went to, the private high school. They our English teacher was also the head of the theater department at the time, and he would take us. We would watch the movie, and then he would take us to the theater at this inside the school, and he would let us like we would like reenact certain parts of Romeo and Juliet through the hey girl, we would reenact some of the stuff from it on the stage just for each other, not like we didn't like film it or anything. um but yeah, shout out, I know he's probably not watching this, but Mr. Pierce, awesome guy. He wrongfully he got fired from the private high school I went to because the Romeo and Juliet stuff, he would let kids bring like fake gun, like airsoft guns and stuff. And one kid loaded one time, and it accidentally went off and like clipped a girl's like leg, and her mom freaked out, and so he got fired wrongfully. But went on to be a theater. I think he runs a theater in Denver still, or he might have moved. But awesome guy, super cool. But yeah, he kind of got me interested in Romeo and Juliet, especially that version. And then I've come to just appreciate it more and more, just because I think Baz Luhrmann is a genius. I mean, that dude, talk about eye candy with his films. Like, he's so good. And obviously him and Leo are a fantastic duo. Great Gatsby they did together as well. But yeah, that was like the catapult for Leo. I mean, he did that, and then some of the other actors in that kind of took off as well. But obviously Leo, we have many amazing films from Leo today, and I think Romeo and Juliet really like got him out of his comfort zone as a young teenager. And it's very beautifully done. Him and Claire Danes have great chemistry. Sent this to you earlier today, but I was watching an interview with Jamie Kennedy's podcast, and he's in the movie, for all of you who don't know that. And he was saying that Baz Luhrmann actually gave them kind of free reign in a sense, and he gave them some Shakespeare like insults, and if they needed to like go off the cuff, they could use whatever they like looked up for. I thought that was really cool. So they could just kind of like go off the cuff, and I think some of them made it into the final cut. But just a fun cast. I mean, a total 90s movie.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
in the best way possible. So really, it's got a lot of heart, but it's also got a lot of heartbreak, and it's really good. So
Yeah,
check out Romeo and Juliet.
I actually read the script, not Baz Luhrmann script, but actual, Romeo and Juliet, and I was 13, and this is similar thing. We actually got to go to the movie theater, and that's when I got to see it first time. But it got me into that different Shakespearean mindset where I would normally read poetry, but it was very engaging, and then I could kind of think through it like, oh, this is what was happening in the movie. And so it reminded me of Wuthering Heights when I needed to watch the movie so I could understand what was going on.
Yeah, I would say I was always like somebody, even from middle school. I knew of Shakespeare, and I wanted to be someone that appreciated Shakespeare and liked Shakespeare, and so I wanted to read the scripts and feel like I was, I guess bougie or whatever. I wanted to have that in my repertoire of things. I want to be cultured like that. But and so I had read some, but it wasn't until watching that movie and seeing the visuals of current day
Mhm.
with the language of Shakespeare, where the language made sense because the way they delivered the lines wasn't poetry singing on a stage. They delivered them like they would deliver the English line, like the everyday talking language,
That we
but
could relate
that
to.
we could relate
Yeah.
to, but with those words. And it was just like it just clicked for me, and I just fell in love with it. I actually also grabbed a copy of the Shakespeare script, and I went through and highlighted everything that was in the movie, as to kind of see like how he trimmed down the full script to be what was in the movie. Tragically, I guess the only tragedy of our marriage is that we can't watch this movie together.
You know why? Because he quotes the whole thing. The whole thing. And I'm like, shh, let's enjoy this.
I said, I am enjoying it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It could be a worse film, though, to be honest.
Right.
I have a lot of movies that are stupid that I can quote. Actually, what was I just quoting? Jess was like, "Okay, stop now." What was it? It was a comedy of some sort, but yeah, she was like, "Okay, I get it."
Tommy Boy.
It was something stupid, but I was like, "I'll do the whole movie for you right now if you want."
Yeah.
Oh, it was I know what it was. It was the hot chick, because we were talking about
Yes,
Rachel
so funny.
McAdams from
Yeah.
Send Help, and
Yeah.
Dylan O'Brien said on set he was like he loves
Kept
that
quoting
movie,
Hot Chicks,
and I love that. I've seen that movie so many times, probably shouldn't have, because it's so dumb, but it makes me laugh. So I was pretty much quoting the entire film. But yeah, she's like, "Can you stop?"
Yeah. So great.
It's me, Jessica.
Jessica, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's what brought it up, because she said some of her people on like her retreat, or every time she came in the room, they were like, "It's Jessica."
Oh.
But yeah, so she was like, she's like, "I haven't seen that movie in a really long time." I was like,
so now
"Well, you can phone a friend."
Exactly.
It's just like, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
So
yeah, so funny.
I tried to test myself when I was listening to it every day to see how far I could get, and I can at that point I could get through about 3/4 of the film from memory.
I can attest.
While it's on, I can quote along with it, because there's always that kind of like that first word that like, what's the first words? Oh yeah, I've got the rest. So
right.
I can do a lot of it still, but there's still certain scenes like just the other day I had the balcony scene in my head, and I was just like going through all of her lines leading up to him, showing himself, and then following that I was trying to see how far I could get with all the lines. I could get pretty far with that. But it also had, Mercutio was a great character.
Just a scratch. We do that sometimes.
Yep. And then also Tybalt was a great character.
Oh yeah, really awesome character.
Just some good standouts there. But yeah, Leo, Claire Danes really, really kind of owning that film. And I think, so right after this, Boz did Moulin Rouge, which at the time I really liked. We rewatched it recently, and it was a little bit too much of that kind of stuff, like that one scene in Romeo and Juliet where it's like they're on drugs.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie's that. So it was a little bit over the top at that point. So I think I have to move Moulin Rouge out of my top 5 romance movies for that reason. But Romeo and Juliet is like the perfect combination of everything. So just clever too, like the swords being called, or the guns being called daggers, and long sword. It was like the shotgun, and it's just this very cool like way of him kind of taking it so that the script made sense, but it's theatrical as well. So
well, and they filmed I mean, it was pretty in depth, like where they filmed, like it wasn't in a movie set, it was like in the hood, and like the hairstylist got kidnapped during the filming of it, and Baz Luhrmann had to pay his ransom to get him back, like on the set of the movie. So it wasn't a ton. I can't remember what the money amount was, but yeah, I remember reading that one time. I was like, good Lord, that's pretty extreme.
The one other thing I wanted to mention, and I can't remember if it was a live stream or a podcast that we talked about this, but Leonardo DiCaprio had already kind of made a name for himself with Basketball Diaries, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He'd already been Oscar nominated. So he was at the point where he wasn't really doing auditions. He wasn't going in and reading for parts. He was accepting parts, or he was declining parts. But something about this film intrigued him, because he actually went and worked with Baz to create basically proof of concept shots where they went on the street. He was wearing the blue shirt and he was quoting lines from the script, and Boz was shooting it the style that he wanted to shoot it to kind of show the contrast of the old English language with the modern day thing, so that he could show it to the producers in the studio to get the money to back the project. And so for someone that is like telling James Cameron in the next movie that we're going to talk about, I'm not coming in and reading for you because I'm above that, to have him say to Boz, like, no, I'm going to invest all this time and energy to make this project. Like, it shows you how much it meant to Leo to do the project. He really grabbed his attention. And I think they grabbed the world's attention with that.
Well, and to piggyback off that, I mean, Leo almost didn't get cast in Titanic because of that attitude. Like, James Cameron has spoken in interviews where he said, like, yeah, it's true. Leo, you know, kind of was like, well, I don't do auditions. And he was like, okay, well, thanks for your time. See you later. And he was like, what? Because he was used to getting parts just at that time, just naturally. And, finally, you know, Leo went home and really thought about it, but wanted to work with James Cameron so badly that he changed his attitude and came. I mean, he wasn't happy, but he came in, changed his attitude, got cast, and the rest is history.
So the trick to that is that he didn't change his attitude necessarily. He walked in with an attitude.
Right.
He was giving Jim lots of attitude. And then when he said action, Jack Dawson, immediately Jack Dawson with Kate Winslet. And then as soon as it was over, he was back to being ticked off. And Jim's like, all right, well, thank you. Like, yeah, you got the part. Like, he's like, you're Jack Dawson. Like, that was ridiculously good.
I know Paul Rudd, because he was in Romeo and Juliet as well. His dad is like a diehard Titanic fan. So, like, he knows everything that there ever was to know about the Titanic, Paul Rudd's dad. So when Leo said he was in talks to be in Titanic, Paul Rudd actually, like, convinced him. He was like, you need to do that movie because it's going to be big. It's going to be huge.
That's amazing.
So,
yeah, it's crazy kind of moving into that. You know, I think it's funny that people make all these comments about Titanic that, like, you know how it's going to end. So what's the point?
Right. Does the ending change?
And it's like, you don't know how James Cameron just has a thing for making stories that are.
Yeah. And then it's something to be said where this wasn't in our timeline. None of us have experienced this. We have only read about it in books and in school. I tend to gravitate towards stories that are tragic, and I think it's because I haven't really experienced something to that magnitude. And so I try to put myself in that perspective. One thing I always quote is when it's cold outside, especially when, like, we just had the ice, I would have died 100% as soon as we had to get in that water. Done. Like, wouldn't have lasted. But yeah, it's just these. I look at these people's lives, and it doesn't matter what class you are, whether you're in the first class or the third class or, you know, shoveling coal. We're all human. And so it just, you know, a big scene of mine that always sticks out to me is when they were hanging, once that back end cracked and they split and they were up. And Rose Dawson looks over, and it's just one of the stewardess, you know, she's looking over to each other, and it's just like, this is it. You know, we're the human in this. And so, yeah.
We've actually been to a couple of Titanic events.
Yeah.
Even just last year. A year ago, they had a Titanic exhibit in Dallas that was one of those tourist exhibits.
Mm-hmm.
That's really fun.
For your birthday.
It was cool. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to get kind of like the ticket of you were this person, and then to find out if you made it or not.
If you live or die at the end. Yeah.
And it's more, to me, I mean, a lot of these people were trying to get to America for freedom. And so it's tragic on another level where they didn't even get to make it, you know, the poor Irish or.
Yeah, the lower class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah.
They actually had set up in the area that was like an outline of the size of the lifeboat. And then so you could, like, sit in the lifeboat and, you know, kind of imagine you were there. They had a time-lapse video. Well, they had a video of the Titanic in real time, like, crashing, and based on all the historical evidence of what time everything happened. They had the video kind of doing that, so you could sit there and kind of experience it. They had the touch this thing. This is how cold the iceberg was. Stick your hand in this water. That's how cold the water was. Like, it's just a a lot of cool interactive things. And then when we were in Branson, they had another exhibit, which is actually there and static. It's not a traveling one. It's a static Titanic exhibit. And that was pretty good too. They had the traveling one had
From
plates.
Carpathia.
Yeah, from the other ship that was just like
No,
the
it wasn't
Titanic.
Carpathia. It was whatever Titanic's sister ship was, but
And it was like, so it was the same plate, same chair, same, dining. It was all the same material. It was just not the Titanic versions. The Branson one actually had the Titanic's like rescued items that they were able to find. So that was a kind of a unique thing.
my mom made me laugh when she was like, I went to the traveling one in Dallas and all the pieces weren't original. And I'm like, they sank with the ship, right?
Yeah.
Like they're at the bottom.
So heartbroken.
God.
They have they're working on a virtual reality game that you like try to escape like while the Titanic's sinking. It's like really immersive, but yeah, they're working on it right now. I just saw a clip of it the other day. Pretty
That's cool.
nuts.
I do that one. Yeah, but that's just again, with the music. I love Irish music. And
Sure.
that came out again when I was 13, 1997. It was we put that on at my gymnastics center and it was on repeat and the boys team hated it, but we won.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a great story and a tragic love story. But at the end, would you have let the diamond heart of the ocean?
I don't know.
What would you have on to that?
I would have gotten on that door with you. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I would have made room.
Yeah. We know darn well
Yeah.
that that's the one thing every time I talk to somebody about Titanic, I'm like, all right, so what do you guys think? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there was plenty of room on there.
Right.
So
Also, oh, go ahead, Spring.
So I was going to say about that, James Cameron actually did pay a scientist group to simulate the event and found that they would have both died if they were both on the door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I think you sent me a thing on that. Yeah.
And then one other science thing I did want to mention is that this is crazy. This is like shows you like next level science stuff. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is like the epitome of all science right now, he saw that Titanic and he actually told James Cameron, the sky is wrong. We know where the Titanic was. We know what time it was, and you've got the sky all wrong. And so James was making like a special edition Blu-ray, whatever, at the time, and he called Neil deGrasse Tyson and said, "Send me the sky." So he replaced the sky in the Titanic to be the exact sky that was happening at that moment. So that's pretty cool. You gotta say.
No, like I think Titanic, of all the movies we're talking about, obviously is like the one that I appreciate the most, only because of it. I mean, they recreated it out of basically nothing, like huge sets. They even built an actual replica of the ship, which is nuts. But I just like the practical effects and the I love watching behind the scenes on the Titanic because like it's just insane, like just watching them in these giant water tanks and I can't even imagine how overwhelming and overstimulated that would be. Like probably adds to your character. I mean, I know I would be terrified if I was like, they're like, all right, fend for your life in this huge tank of water. I'm like, okay.
Seriously.
But yeah, they're like like when the ship floods, there's like I think it's over a couple hours into the movie, but there's that huge shot of the staircase just being flooded and it just fills up really fast. They like actually did that, so like they had to do it in one take because everything that they just built was gonna just get annihilated like when they like opened the floodgates and brought that in. So I just think you can watch some of that on behind the scenes on like YouTube and stuff, but yeah, just insane. Cameron, nobody does visual effects like James Cameron. That's the one thing. Even if I don't say I dislike. I haven't seen the last two Avatar movies. I'm sure they're awesome, but like the first one was pretty groundbreaking with the 3D effects and everything, and I thought that was really cool. but even when I don't love his movies at first glance, I always appreciate what he brings to a film, like practical effects, even like the ILM a lot of times works with him and stuff. So it's pretty nuts. But
It
yeah,
is wild that,
Titanic's
I mean, he's got 4 movies in the top 5 highest grossing films.
right. Yeah. I mean, so
It's just
he's considered as like
ridiculous.
the GOAT of the box office. So
Yeah. The only one that's up there with them is Avengers Endgame,
Endgame.
which is, understandable. It was the completion. Well, that's
Sure.
the thing. It was the completion of 22 movies. It was all this backstory that people had lived for 10, 15 years. But then you get Titanic. It's a one-off, one movie, and it just like, I think it's still the number one box office.
Well, and I think I remember that time going back to Kristen talking about playing the soundtrack and the boys hating it. Well, I'll tell you what the boys didn't hate was going to the movie and seeing Kate Winslet naked, because
Yeah.
I remember I was close to that same age when the movie came out, and I saw it. I actually ended up seeing it twice in the theater. I went with my parents once, and then my buddy and his dad or mom or whatever, like they were going and they invited me along, and I was like, okay, yeah, I already saw it, but I'll go again. But yeah, I just remember like the buzz about all the
Yeah.
young boys were like, oh my God, because they could go because it was PG-13 because they snuck. I mean, it's not gratuitous, it's just Kate Winslet, whatever.
laying there. Like, it's art.
Pulling
That's how you get.
Yeah. Well,
They got
and
past it. It's like
to
art.
get Leo comfortable, because she knew she was going to be nude, she apparently like broke the ice right away when they first met, and they obviously have a long lasting friendship, but she flashed him like the first time she met him, like just to break the ice. Like she's like, yeah, we're gonna and she just flashed
That's
Leo and she's like, all right,
hilarious.
let's get it over with now. But there's been so many parodies of that scene on you, like they always make me laugh. But it's just such an iconic, like I want you to draw me like one of your French girls, Jack, and like it's highly quotable
Yeah.
and it's very memorable for teenagers, especially like that movie came out when I was a teenager. So, yeah, it's just I remember when it came out at what a big deal it was. It was, long, but it had all age groups. I mean, it was PG-13, so young kids could go with their parents. It was historical for the most part. You have the elderly people who went and saw it multiple times who like never went to movies, just very seldom. So I think that's why it did so well, because I mean everybody was like, oh, I know about the Titanic, but we have never seen a movie like this on this big of a scale before. So
One other
pretty
fun
insane.
fact I wanted to share was that we talked about the music, the iconic song that is now just permeates through time and space. And at the time, Celine Dion did not want to sing the song. She didn't like the song. She'd heard the demo. She had heard like what it was supposed to sound like. She's like, I don't like this. They basically got her to come in and sing a demo of it, like a practice version, a version we're going to use and then go back and fix it and make it perfect. That's the version that we have. It's her demo of the song. One take, and it just made history. Like, that's just ridiculous. So
Well, and it's
shout
kind
out to
of
Celine Dion.
yeah, it's unusual too. Like when you see that type of movie, you wouldn't think there'd be like an actual song with lyrics, and like you would think it would just be a score the whole time. Especially something that epic. And I can't remember. I think did James Newton Howard do the score for Titanic? I think he did, or I think it was James Newton Howard, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, great score as well. But you just wouldn't think, and then like that song comes out and is huge on its own, but then the movie is gigantic. It's like the first movie that we've ever seen at the time make that kind of money in the theaters, and it's
And then
just
you get Celine Dion to come back and do another soundtrack, Deadpool 2.
right.
Just a couple other films we're going to touch on just real quickly. Kristen and I watched Beguiled, which is based in the US, so it's kind of out of the scope of this kind of British stories that we had been looking at. And it also doesn't follow our flow because Kate Winslet was in Titanic, and that brings us back to Sense and Sensibility. So we've got a nice little circular flow with those movies. But the Beguiled was it was interesting.
It was interesting.
Good.
Especially so it was set in Virginia, and it was during the Civil War, and it was they didn't know if it was the Southern soldier or Northern soldier, and found out that hold on, was he a Southern
He was a
guy?
Northern soldier.
He was a Northern guy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they were fighting for the South, and it was a Northern soldier that one of the girls found when she was collecting mushrooms for their dinner. And so she helped him in. It reminded her of her older brother, who also had gone off to war, and just kind of a house full of girls with a guy there. And there you go.
Yeah, all the
All the
drama.
drama.
All the drama. Every girl doesn't want to be there at first because he's a Northerner. They want him dead. They want to turn him over. But even the house mom, Nicole Kidman, decides, well, let's heal him up a little bit, you know. And then they all kind of start to fall in love with him in their own way.
And he kind of plays him too.
He plays them because he's playing for his survival,
Right.
and so he tries to work them up. Colin Farrell is the guy. Kirsten Dunst, Elle Fanning, Una Lawrence, who was also in one of the other big movies we remember her from, was Bad Moms.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she was the
yes.
daughter in Bad Moms, one that came out. Also, Southpaw and Pete's Dragon were her other ones that she's been in, but she was recognizable in that. So yeah, just this house full of girls, and then Colin Farrell shows up, and they're trying to. So it's tragic in many ways, and there's some very dark things that happen in that film, though. I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
it wasn't great,
yeah.
but it was worth the watch. It was interesting, and seeing those actresses and Colin Farrell, all of them really acting well together was a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed.
And the last one we're going to talk about just really shortly is 2023's Saltburn. This one is directed by Emerald Fennell, who is directing Wuthering Heights, and stars Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, who's also in Wuthering Heights, and Rosamund Pike, as well as others. But it made a huge splash when it was released, came on the scene.
Splash.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I just watched it. Yeah.
Oh my.
I mean, I already knew, like, when the movie came out, there, like you just said, there was so much, the social media, especially aspect of it, was all over. I mean, that's all I heard about I was like, what is this movie? Hadn't even seen it yet. And I was like, what? Like, he did what?
Right.
And then I saw it finally, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Of
It's a great movie, though. I mean, it's it's wild for sure for our audience if you haven't
As a
seen
movie,
it. But
yeah, the way it's shot, the acting,
Yeah.
I mean, from a movie standpoint, it is pristine. I think it was nominated for Best Picture if it didn't win. It may have not been nominated for Oscars, but it was nominated for other awards. And the direction was really good. And so I can expect a little bit of that same vibe in Wuthering Heights.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, just dynamic characters and how they work together. I actually really liked Saltburn because of how shocking it was. Some movies I can kind of just space out if they're too boring or they're too much action, but this one had a good story, and it also had a lot of like surprises. And I'm not often like, really? Is this really happening on TV?
Right.
But I most definitely did quite a few times. And so it's definitely stuck in my head.
And what I find interesting and why I think Saltburn is relatable to a certain extent is this outcast kid who he's poor, but he gets a chance to go to this school, and he gets in the friend group with the richest kids in the world, and he gets brought along. And so it's like we're like that character, like getting an opportunity to see how rich people live and how they really go, and then he kind of shows his real character, and that's what kind of like, oh wow, so he's the one that kind of takes it to another level where you're expecting the weirdness to be the way that these rich people act. It's actually the way that he acts.
Is it pronounced Barry Keoghan? Yeah, he was just phenomenal.
Barry
Keoghan.
Yeah, I first saw him in Dunkirk, Chris Nolan's
Mm.
Dunkirk. He's also going to be in the new movie Crime 101, which also comes out this
Oh, yeah.
weekend. And I've heard great things about this movie.
Yeah, it looks
I've heard
good.
it's insanely good. So that's going to be exciting to see. Chris Hemsworth in a non-Thor movie that's successful, hopefully.
Right.
Oh, and Mark Ruffalo's in it too, so
Oh, he's good.
that's fun.
Right.
And Halle
Little
Berry. So we
Avengers
got
team up.
Catwoman. We got. I mean, at this point, you can take any movie and just like change them out with their comic book versions.
Right.
It's kind of a funny game to play. But yeah, really good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's gonna be. I mean, I'm excited to see what Emerald does with Wuthering Heights. One other comment I did want to say about Wuthering Heights is there are quotes in the movie title. You don't normally see that in movie titles, but in this movie, she did quotes in the title to say basically, I'm doing a kind of like inspiration by Wuthering Heights, a story very similar, but I'm not trying to adapt Wuthering Heights. She's basically said that would be too complicated and too like nobody can adapt this into a movie. It's too epic in scale. And so she's telling a story that's inspired by the book, not an adaptation of the book. So thought that was an interesting way of taking it. And I think it's smart to say that up front so people don't go in kind of expecting to see Wuthering Heights and then get this like kind of watered down,
Right.
what they might see as a watered down version. She's just saying, I'm just kind of inspired by that to kind of tell this story that's similar. So
Yeah.
So very cool. Awesome.
Well, all I gotta say is go Sooners. My gymnasts are competing. I'm
Yep.
so proud of them. They've done a great season. All of the ladies have across
Heck
all the
yeah.
teams. So
All right. Thanks everybody. Go see it this week. It'd be awesome. We're gonna go watch some gymnastics and we'll talk to you guys later.
bye guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to jump over to our website, moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com, to see all of our links. Follow us on Instagram so you never miss an episode, a live stream, or an interview. And until next time, keep watching movies.